All right, it's time now on the show to talk about Travel Thursday. This is a segment on this show that we discuss the places that you should put on your bucket list, whether they're in India or anywhere in the world. And to talk about a place in Europe, I'm joined by Prakriti Arora as well as Ashish Kumar. And they're joining me all the way from the US. So thank you so much, guys, for taking the time on your travels and for speaking to me today. Pleasure having you on the program. And you've selected Italy, which I think a lot of people already have on their bucket list. Let's talk about why it should be there for everybody. So where in Italy would you suggest going, and why Italy?
Well, let's get on to the bigger question, which is why Italy? I don't think so. We've traveled to almost 17 to 18 countries in the last 3 years, and no country has bewitched us like Italy. We have never been to a place that has the perfect blend of landscape, culture, architecture, and so much history. Like the moment you walk in the streets of Rome, you will know that, okay, you are actually walking on these streets that have been passed through by so many legends. And it's just a very beautiful, slightly overwhelming, but amazing feeling. And it's the perfect country for every kind of traveler, whether you like the beaches, whether you like mountains, whether you like the city vibe. So I think it has the perfect blend. And where in Italy? Well, I think Ashish should.
So overall, the country is also very convenient. They have fast bullet trains, and overall, they have lots of airports you can also fly in. Where in Italy? So people majorly visit four top cities: Rome, Florence, Milan, and Venice. We will highly suggest you to only keep Rome and Florence in these four cities. Apart from these apart from these two cities, Rome and Florence, you should also visit Naples and Amalfi Coast. And the best part and the best kept secret of Italy is Dolomites, which is basically UNESCO renowned mountain range of Italy. And I think, yeah, that is why we have fallen in love with it.
Okay, so you've given us some perspective on where to go. And you said it, right? It's the Mediterranean climate. And so therefore, it's great weather for large parts of the year. But I just want to know from you guys, because you've been there, what's the best time to visit and how long should you be willing to spend in Italy?
So ideally, the best time from the weather perspective, it is from June to August. But they are also, since it's a peak season, it's most crowded as well. So the best time would be to visit sometime in May or in September. So you'll find a balance of weather and tourists. You'll not be overwhelmed with seeing a lot of tourist number in places like Rome or any other city, Florence.
Okay. And of course, when you're making the trip, it's not just a hop, skip, and jump away. It's a pretty long journey. And so from that perspective, how long should you be willing to spend? Because you want to do justice to the trip as well, Prakriti.
I think 2 weeks is a good time to start off with. Like, I would stay there for my whole life if I could, because spending good 2 weeks last year, we were definitely not satisfied, but that gave us the perfect opportunity to explore every destination that we picked at our own pace. And mostly it's about enjoying the vibe, dolce far niente, the art of doing nothing. And if you're not getting that vibe, if you're not enjoying that, then your trip to Italy is kind of incomplete. And you want to pace yourself to soak in the beauty, to soak in the culture. And I think 2 weeks is a good time to maybe visit 4 or 5 beautiful destinations in Italy. Yeah.
Okay, so you said it, right? The art of doing nothing. I think a few of the Goans in India will talk about Sushega life, right? And I guess you have to get into that mode when you're traveling. But having said that, talk to me about the cost of the tickets. Is it costly to get to Italy? Is it costly to be in Italy?
It's one of the cheapest country to go to Europe from India. So right now we are checking the flights to Rome is like 20,000 from India.
Wow.
One way.
Yeah. And also like to Bali also it's 20,000. We can do them.
Yeah. So 20,000 not bad. So round trip, even if you're pushing the envelope a little bit, if you book well in advance. So you should obviously book well in advance to get the best possible rate. But you're talking about 50,000 rupees round trip, one per person?
On average, yeah, it should come around 45 to 50,000. But there is a risk involved. Like if you are also you have to take a visa, right?
Yeah.
For visa, you also show the booking, but your visa might also get rejected, and you might end up having a loss, right? So it's dummy tickets, which is also the embassy demands. Embassy does not say like you have to book, you have to have a real ticket. You just need a flight itinerary, and there are multiple websites to choose dummy tickets. So you should book that first, and once your visa is confirmed, then only you should go ahead and do the final
Okay.
tickets.
Okay. Since we're on the subject of tickets, it's something that always occurs to me when I'm booking those tickets. Right? If you have refundable tickets, they're actually costlier. But in this situation, would you say that it's better off, considering that you travel so much, to book refundable tickets?
So basically, a dummy ticket will cost you like 1,000 rupees, but a refundable ticket's like 10 or 15% extra.
Okay, so I get that answer. I get the answer. All right, let's talk about per day cost, right? If you're talking about the staying facility, or it depends on where you're going to stay, right? If you go to the lap of luxury, Italy, I'm sure will give you a lot of opportunities. But for the average Indian traveler, for couples going to Italy, where do you look and how much do you spend?
I think the per day minimum cost that Ulinka is basically 10 to 15,000 for one person. And for couples, there are actually a lot of places because you don't need to be in the heart of the city. You can be a little away from it to enjoy that peaceful vibe. For instance, Lake Como is one of the most expensive, lakes and areas to enjoy a vacation. But we found a perfectly amazing Airbnb with the best view that we could get for a little under 10,000 for 2 days, which was a great deal. And it wasn't like right in the, where all the action happens, but a location where you could enjoy the vibe and also have your own nice, peaceful, romantic time. So I would say somewhere between 10 to 15,000 per person is a good budget to start off with. And beyond that, I think the best type of accommodations to pick for Europe are definitely Airbnbs, so that you can always have the liberty to maybe cook for yourself and save a little bit cost on, on travel, and maybe splurge a little bit on on other things like maybe a private boat in Amalfi. So I think Airbnb would definitely be a better choice.
Okay, so since you mentioned food, let me also ask you this, right? Obviously, everyone knows about, or maybe people have preconceived notions that are not necessarily right, because I know for a fact that pizza is not as big a thing in Italy as some people think it is. So if you're naming the kind of things to definitely eat and try in Italy, what would they be, and is it costly to eat there?
It depends where you're dining. A restaurant meal typically costs 10,000 for two if you're, dining all the meals, like all the courses. So dining out is not that economical. But having said that, there are a lot of other options that you can try. Basically, a lot of boulangeries and a lot of patisserie, or, mostly like less fancier stalls, but you get perfectly amazing food. And talking about the food, I mean, pizza is basically Italy's thing. So the best part is that you won't find the same kind of pizza throughout the country. I mean, it looks like a small country, but it'll blow your mind how much food diversity there is. So I would definitely say go for the cacio e pepe pasta, go for the margherita Neapolitan pizza, especially in Naples where it was invented, and have a lot of tiramisu, obviously. And beyond that, just lots of sandwiches. They do amazing sandwiches, and you can actually get them at the meat shop, which is a very unique experience in itself. And if you so much as go to Florence, then I would say affogato.
I wish I had the Italian genetics, because all of those things that you mentioned, my waistline is not going to thank me for trying any of those things. But having said that, yeah.
Even if you have all those things, you won't gain a lot of weight,
Yeah.
because we did that. We came out just fine, because you'll be walking almost 20,000 every day.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll take your word for it. I'm pretty sure that your genetics are better than mine anyway, because even if I walk 20,000 steps, eating that is not going to be good for me. But having said that, coming to the crux of the conversation, and according to you, you've already named the places that we should go to in Italy. Why don't you name the top 5 things that people should absolutely do when they go to Italy?
All right. I'll start with the first and the most basic one, seeing the wonder of the world, Colosseum and Vatican City. So visiting Colosseum, you can also visit the Vatican City. Number 2 is taking a private sunset yacht in Amalfi Coast.
Number 3 is definitely hiking around in the Dolomites. You'll never see a more beautiful place like Dolomites. So definitely Waldy Fumes is a crowd. I mean, it's a winner for us. And I would say if you want an island vibe, then kind of skip the most more frequented places and head to Sicily or Sardinia. Those are beautiful, beautiful islands, and it's going to be a whole game changer. Definitely, I would say Naples. Try a food tour there. Not a lot of people go there, but it is amazing how food can tell so much about the history of a city, of a place, and how their values. We share the same values with respect to food. I mean, Indians and Italians, that no food item should go waste, and that is something a food tour in Naples can teach you like nothing else. So I think these would be our top.
Fantastic. I think we've covered quite a bit of ground. Prakriti, Ashish, I'm almost decided on booking my tickets. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Your Money Matters. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is NDTV Profit.